Okay, this is just a really quick one. Don't forget you need to do the annotated bibliography. I'm not talking to you. I'm making a screencast. Sorry, my roommate was just looking at me.
Sound like a crazy woman talking to your computer.
Don't forget you need to make the annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliography. Talk to a tutor tomorrow about making it. Okay, so you need quotes from 5 sources. Make sure you find out what your professor considers primary and secondary sources, and maybe PIMA database versus online sources. Maybe she wants some books versus news article or magazine article or online article sources or studies, peer-reviewed studies, etc. Find out. You make a lot of claims that could use some data points from research studies or case studies, statistics, etc. Make sure when you add in quotes that you properly introduce them. It needs to be the proper authority, healthcare professional or other expert, include their hospital or university too, if applicable, provided in source, and a good lead-in to the quote that supports your claim with a paragraph within the paragraph. You could have another paragraph about whose responsibility it is to keep patient records sealed and secure, the government's, the insurers, or the hospital's providers. If the government funded HIT, the government could fund better encryption as well. They need to anyway, considering the devastating Equifax hack of last year. They need to do it with social security numbers. Estonia has the most developed personal ID encryption technology in the world. There's no reason the government could not use that technology to protect data, apart from not wanting to spend the money on it. So, I mean, you could talk about why aren't these resources being spent on HIT and on, for example, one of my housemates works at a hospital and in town, and she told me that half the records are electronic and half are still manually submitted. What's the word? Oh, it's gonna bother me right now. I have to think of the word. Exactly whose responsibility is to make sure patients' data is protected could be another paragraph. Analog, half are analog, half are electronic. So this is an issue for everywhere, right? Why won't the government spend the money on it? That could be another paragraph and another point of research. If you wanted to, it's a short paper, and remember, she said a C is only guaranteed if you have at least 5 and a few more short paper. I would say 2 to 3 more paragraphs with some research, with some data points, and maybe also bring up something else like why isn't the government funding this? Might be useful. You could include case studies of individual patients and how they have been helped by HIT or hurt by HIT. Hurt, say, because of the data breaches. Helped because their medical record is connected. You know, I know that mine is not. I would have to go to some great lengths to get all my medical records. So constantly connected, meaning that there's a larger patient history, right? And not only duplication within data entry, but duplication of methods that have been tried before for the same patient, especially say when it comes to psychological issues or mental health. I mean, that's very common. Let's see. Talk a bit more about the upshot, consequences of the data breach, as that is your main counterpoint to your body argument, the main point against instituting HIT. For another counterpoint, you could bring up the cost of the government instituting it. And for a rebuttal, you could say that though the initial cost might be high, it would pay itself off in a few years with increased patient care, leading to fewer ER visits, as well as more efficient technology, meaning fewer costly errors, as well as not having the cost of paper and ink and workers to file, all those documents, etc. Go more into how HIT is related to other aspects of technology in the medical field. You touch on this. Your writing is good. Just remember to keep it formal, avoid repetition, and make each sentence count. Each sentence should be clear and provide further information, expanding upon the last. New paragraphs indicate a shift in thought, say from point to counterpoint. Don't forget the annotated bibliography. Your writing is good. It just needs to be fleshed out a bit more, and you need a better conclusion. Conclusion is always the hard part for everybody. You might also want to flesh out the introduction a bit more as well. I would talk to your tutor about that tomorrow. And then you make a lot of claims, but you don't have statistics, you don't have quotes. Any claim that you make in there, which you make quite a few, is something that could be backed up by a statistic or could be backed up by a quote. Okay? Remember, you need at least 5 sources, 5 quotes. Don't forget the annotated bibliography. She really wants that. I hope this was helpful, and good luck to you, Mara.